Think 9mm is untouchable? Think again. Right now, across America, shooters are quietly making a switch that's about to flip the firearms world upside down. While everyone's been arguing about hollow points and grain weights, a different caliber has been creeping up from the shadows, and it's not playing games. This isn't some internet fad or range toy we're talking about. This is serious business, backed by ballistics that make 9mm look like it's stuck in the past. The numbers don't lie, the performance speaks for itself, and the adoption rate is climbing faster than ammo prices after an election. If you're still married to that 9mm, because that's what everyone carries, you might want to pay attention to what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to show you is going to change how you think about defensive calibers forever. The problem with being king. Here's the thing about being king of the mountain. Someone's always coming for your crown. For over 3 decades, 9mm has owned the American market like a monopoly. Every gun store, every police department, every weekend warrior at the range has been singing the same song. Cheap to shoot, easy to control, fits in everything from pocket pistols to full-size duty guns. The FBI went back to it, NATO standardized on it, and your local instructor probably swears by it. But here's what nobody wants to admit. Sometimes the popular choice isn't the best choice anymore. Technology moves forward, but habits die hard, and while we've been coasting on 9mm's reputation, ballistics engineers have been busy solving problems we didn't even know we had. The new sheriff in town. So what's this mystery caliber that's got everyone talking behind closed doors? It's the 5.7 by 28mm, and before you roll your eyes and call it some European curiosity, hear me out. This isn't your granddad's pistol round. Originally engineered by FN Herstal for NATO's personal defense weapon program, the 5.7 was built from the ground up to do what traditional pistol calibers simply can't. We're talking about a 40-grain projectile screaming out of the barrel at over 2,000 feet per second. That's not a typo. 2,000 feet per second from a handgun. While your 9mm is lumbering along at 1,200 feet per second on a good day, the 5.7 is already at the target and asking what took you so long. But speed isn't everything, right? Wrong. When you combine that velocity with modern projectile design, you get something that defies everything we thought we knew about pistol ballistics. The 5.7 shoots flatter than a Kansas highway, meaning your 50-yard shots require virtually no holdover. Compare that to 9mm, where you're already calculating drop and hoping for the best. And here's the kicker. Despite all that performance, the recoil feels like shooting a .22 Magnum. Your follow-up shots are faster, your accuracy stays consistent, and your wrist doesn't feel like it went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Why nobody saw this coming? The firearms industry loves its traditions, sometimes to a fault. For years, the 5.7 by 28mm was dismissed as a novelty, something for collectors with deep pockets and too much time on their hands. The ammunition was expensive, the platform choices were limited, and most importantly, it didn't fit the narrative we'd been telling ourselves about what makes a good defensive round. Bigger bullets, heavier bullets, slower bullets that dump all their energy. That was the gospel according to conventional wisdom. But here's what changed everything. Ammunition manufacturing finally caught up with the technology. Companies like Federal, Speer, and even smaller boutique manufacturers started producing 5.7 rounds that weren't just fast, but devastating. Modern hollow points that expand reliably, meet FBI penetration standards, and deliver terminal performance that makes seasoned ballisticians take notice. Suddenly, that expensive novelty started looking like the future of personal defense. The numbers don't lie. Let's talk facts, because feelings don't stop threats. When you run the 5.7 by 28mm through proper ballistic testing, the results are eye-opening. Standard Federal American Eagle 5.7 loads push a 40-grain bullet at 2,034 feet per second, generating 367 foot-pounds of energy. Now, before you say, that's less than 9mm, hold up. Energy numbers only tell part of the story. The 5.7's sectional density and velocity create a wound channel that behaves completely differently than traditional pistol rounds. FBI ballistic gel tests show the 5.7 consistently achieving 12 to 14 inches of penetration with modern defensive loads, right in the sweet spot for effective terminal performance. But here's where it gets interesting. Barrier penetration. Car doors, heavy clothing, even light body armor that would stop or significantly slow down 9mm? The 5.7 punches through like they're not even there. Texas Department of Public Safety ran extensive tests and found the 5.7 maintained terminal effectiveness through barriers that rendered other pistol calibers nearly useless. Real-world adoption, here's where theory meets reality. The United States Secret Service didn't switch to 5.7 by 28mm for their submachine guns because it looked cool in movies. They adopted it because when protecting high-value targets, you need a round that works regardless of what's in the way. Vehicle glass, body armor, structural barriers. The 5.7 maintains effectiveness where traditional pistol rounds fail. Military contractors operating overseas have been quietly adopting 5.7 platforms for years. When your life depends on your sidearm working against threats wearing armor or hiding behind cover, the choice becomes obvious. These aren't weekend warriors making YouTube videos. These are professionals whose equipment selection is literally life or death. The feedback from operators who've used both 9mm and 5.7 in actual engagements. The 5.7 gets things done with less drama and fewer rounds fired. The skeptics have a point. Look, I'm not here to blow sunshine up your tailpipe. The 5.7 by 28mm isn't perfect, and the critics aren't completely wrong. First complaint you'll hear? It's just an overpriced .22 Magnum. That's coming from people who've never actually shot one. But let's address it anyway. Yes, it's a small, fast bullet. No, it doesn't behave like a .22 Magnum when it hits tissue. Modern 5.7 defensive loads are engineered specifically for reliable expansion and consistent terminal performance. This isn't varmint ammo we're talking about. The real concerns are more practical. Ammunition cost is still higher than 9mm. You're looking at roughly double the price per round for quality defensive loads. Availability can be spotty, especially in smaller gun shops that don't move much specialty ammunition. And let's be honest, the platform choices are still limited compared to the endless options in 9mm. You've got the FN57, the Ruger 57, and a handful of others. That's it. No micro compacts, no budget options, no endless aftermarket support. Why 9mm isn't going anywhere. Before we get carried away, let's pump the brakes and acknowledge reality. The 9mm Parabellum isn't some obsolete relic that's about to disappear overnight. There's a reason it's dominated for decades, and those reasons haven't magically evaporated. It works, it's affordable, and it's everywhere. When the FBI conducted their exhaustive testing and switched back to 9mm from 40S and W, they weren't making a political statement. They were following the data. Modern 9mm ammunition is genuinely impressive. Federal HST, Speer Gold Dot, Winchester Ranger, these loads deliver consistent expansion, reliable penetration, and proven real-world performance. The wound ballistics are well documented, the terminal effectiveness is established, and the platform options are endless. From pocket guns to full-size duty pistols, 9mm chambers and everything, and parts availability means you can keep these guns running indefinitely. The bottom line. Here's where the rubber meets the road. The 5.7 by 28mm isn't just some flash in the pan or internet hype train. It's a legitimate evolution in pistol ballistics that's finally hitting its stride. The technology has matured, the manufacturing has scaled up, and the real-world performance speaks for itself. What we're witnessing is the beginning of a shift that'll play out over the next 5 to 10 years, not overnight. For most shooters, 9mm still makes perfect sense. It's reliable, affordable, and proven. But for those who demand maximum performance, who face threats that might involve barriers or armor, or who simply want the flattest shooting pistol round available, the 5.7 represents a quantum leap forward. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to stick with what everyone else is carrying because it's comfortable, or are you ready to experience what the future of defensive handgun cartridges actually looks like? Drop a comment below and let me know if you've shot the 5.7, what your experience was like, and whether you think this shift is real or just marketing hype. And if this opened your eyes to something you hadn't considered before, smash that like button and subscribe because we're just getting started. The firearms world is changing faster than most people realize, and you don't want to be left behind.